Good morning, Granada Hills. I am not Reverend Mike. He wears a suit. I'm not really a suit kind of guy, though I am one. Though I have one. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for, even though you didn't know it, welcoming me here. Thank you. My name is Reverend Jay Willick. I am the assistant minister at the Global Truth Center, which is over in Westlake Village. And I'm here to host you back to your magnificence, in case you forgot. So until we get into that, let's do some hugs and handshakes, okay? We rocking? Here we go. Hugging with the Beatles. Nothing like hugging with the Beatles. So let's do our call to service and lighting the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practice of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And we light the 10th candle for those who are as yet unaware of spirit in their lives, and for the space we are holding for them right here at this center. And as we light the healing candle, please put in silence into that light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
I know and feel the divine presence is right here in this very room. The infinite intelligence behind all of life is expressing as each and every one of us here today in positive, radiant life energy. We are blessed with having Reverend Jay Willick here with us today, and we are so happy and eager to hear what he has to share with us, all of his gifts. We are all right where we are invited to be by divine appointment, basking in the light of spiritual truth and wonderful music and song with like-minded friends. Life is good and very good, and we live it now in effortless ease and flow. All is perfect just as it is. I release my word to the law of mind, knowing gratefully so that this is true and so and already done in the mind of God. I release and I say, thank you. And together we acknowledge this as being so, as we say, and so it is. Good morning. The golden key. After all of these years in science of mind, I find that there are still times in life when I find myself feeling overwhelmed with life circumstances. My head is spinning because I'm trying to find a plan to make some difficulty go away. But I find now that when I finally do take a breath, I hear that still small voice telling me to just drop everything that is bothering me and start fresh. Something in me knows to come back to the simplicity of the present moment. That's when I love those little pamphlets by Emmett Fox that we carry in our bookstore. In their simplicity, they bring me back home. One of my favorites is titled The Golden Key. The golden key is referring to what Emmett calls scientific prayer, or what we call in science of mind, spiritual mind treatment. Emmett reminds us that the golden key to harmony is in our hand, because in scientific prayer, it is God that does the work and not us. We are only the channel through which the divine action takes place. And the treatment or prayer will really just be getting ourselves out of the way. However, he does remind us that it is absolutely essential to have an open mind, to have faith. Emmett says this: the actual method of working, like all fundamental things, is simplicity itself. Stop thinking about the difficulty, whatever it is, and think about God instead. It can be as simple as repeating a spiritual affirmation, such as God is with me, God is guiding me now, whatever appeals to you. Emmett tells us that doing this quietly without struggle, but with insistence several times a day, and leaving the question of means strictly to God, after a fair trial, you will find yourself out of this difficulty or situation. Over a decade ago, when divorce was looming in my life, I could not mentally see a way for me to keep my house. I didn't have the funds to buy my husband out or to afford another house on my own. This was not a happy thought for me. After struggling with this question of how to bring the desired outcome, at some point I finally gave up. And in that space of release, there was clarity. Of course, I know God knows the way. And in that moment, I absolutely knew that truth. So thereafter, whenever a question about my house started to arise, I began to say to myself, won't it be interesting to see how it shows up? It became my mantra. Won't it be interesting to see how it shows up? When I first started Science of Mind classes, I had some amazing demonstrations. I was all in faith. I had beginner's mind. I had some very big changes happening in my life at that time, and some ahead that I did not know about yet. I feel that I was led to the teaching by grace. It was just so perfect timing for all that I was about to encounter on my path. So there was a demonstration. I did obtain my house. And you could say that it was something that took care of itself in ease, flow, and grace. I did nothing other than have a complete faith and openness to all possibilities. The way it showed up was not anything I would ever have imagined. It was just placed before me. But having the expectancy, the knowing that all was well and taken care of, over time the answer came. And because of this amazing demonstration, my faith deepened, and I was aided in navigating other difficult waters. The death of both parents, family relationships, being laid off from my job, etc. But there were always blessings laid at my feet along the way. Things handed to me to make the way easier. So there you have it. The golden key, spiritual mind treatment, the embodied knowing of spiritual truth. Letting go and letting God do the work. While in presence, listening for inner guidance and taking any action needed. This is the golden key, and we are so very blessed to have it. Namaste.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. Please welcome David Olivas on keyboards today. And I would like to thank David and Jill and Ken for covering for me last week, so that was great. Thank you. And what are you guys talking about? Oh, that's important. Okay, so I'd like to welcome our next guest, who's filling in for Kent, who will be on vacation for 3 weeks, for 3 Sundays, count them. And please welcome Mr. Jason Goldstein. Jason is also, he just got the job of teacher at Campbell Hall, so that's pretty awesome. So this next gentleman, they have heard mysteries about him in Palmdale. Because he is the king of Santa Clarita, Mr. Jerry Reike. Yes. 2. A 1, 2, 3, 4.
God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for the way. I'm waiting for the day when I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. Woo! God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for your ways. I'm waiting for the day when I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, restore the joy I had. I have wandered, bring me back. In this darkness, lead me through. Till all I see is you. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm longing for the ways. I'm longing for the day when I am a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, let me burn for you again. Let me return to you again. Lord, let me burn for you again. Let me return to you again. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart. Till I am a soul on fire. Lord, I'm looking for the ways. I'm waiting for the days when I am a soul on fire. God, I'm running for your heart. I'm running for your heart. Till I am a soul on fire. I want to be a soul on fire. Till I am a soul on fire.
Oh, no, you can go ahead and do it.
Yes, soul on fire. That's what we are, right? Yeah? Burning, burning, burning up. Good morning, everybody. Happy Memorial Day. Day of honor and respect, right? So, also a day of bereavement support group. Today at 1 o'clock, right here in the sanctuary, facilitated by our own wonderful Suzanne Jensen. If you're struggling with anything that you'd like support with, come to bereavement support today at 1 o'clock. Also, of course, Wednesday night, we have our wonderful, really, if you guys haven't come Wednesday night to check out the meditation healing service, it is really fantastic. It's sacred and wonderful, and you're all invited Wednesday night to come to the healing meditation service. Sangha is spiritual cinema starting in June. The Wednesday morning group, Wednesday mornings from 9:30 till lunchtime, 12:30. The theme for the 6 weeks from June 6th to, I don't know if it's 6 weeks, 4 weeks, I think. June 6th to June 27th, people we need to know. So you'll be seeing movies about specific people. Donate through Amazon Smile. When you make a purchase on Amazon Smile, some of the money comes back to us, so that's another way that you can support the center. And Father's Day is coming up, right? Who shops on Amazon, by the way? Anybody besides me? Yeah, okay, good. Also, if you stop by the shop today, you'll see that there's a book of donated books that they're all spiritual in nature, and they're being donated by Leslie, who, I'm going to just say it, Leslie, sorry. Leslie's leaving. Leslie's moving back to Michigan. So I wanted to say that because I want people to have a chance to say goodbye to you properly and to honor all the wonderful things, the wonderful ways that you've been of service to this community. The flowers are usually done by Leslie. She's just always around to serve. So we honor you, and she's honoring us by giving us some of her books that she can't take with her. So there is a box in the gift shop, and they're free. Also, today is, we love you, dear one. We love you. Also, today is you've seen her little rugrats running around here. I'm sorry, her grandchildren. Today is Harper's 5th birthday. So if you see Harper, I think when the kids come in, we're going to sing happy birthday to her, but maybe you just want to say happy birthday to her if you have a chance. Thank you. You're in for a treat with this guy, man. He's fantastic.
Okay. So, yeah, there is the bereavement group today. This week at Wednesday, the healing meditation, Sangha Cinema, on Wednesday, June 6th through the 27th. And there are sign-ups for that in the Sparks Hall. Okay, so let's stand for the Declaration of Principles. We believe in one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
I don't know about you, but this will drive me crazy that this one, it doesn't want to light. And there you go. That's good. Hold on to that, baby. Hold on. It's small, but it's mighty. Good morning again, Granada Hills. How are you? Happy Memorial Day. Happy Sunday. Happy you day. It is your day. So, oh, there I am. Oh, look, I'm wearing the same tie. Okay, so you might want to really know what Reverend Mike is doing, and that's this. He says he's on some spiritual whatever, but here he is right there, and the fish are here, but he's fishing that way, so if those of you who think you're going to get some fish later, I'm not sure. The rest of us, except for those who aren't here, are probably in that, starting Friday, yes, sitting in traffic, and so there's one guy, and when he gets back from Vegas, he'll also have that face, because his pocketbook will be a little less. And then I like this guy right here, sitting in that's the way to sit in traffic, with your face out there, getting the wind. But it is Memorial Day, and originally Memorial Day was to honor the 620,000. Let's hold on to that number just for a second. 620,000 troops who died in the Civil War. That was the beginnings of Memorial Day. It was actually called Decoration Day at that time. And there are a couple of dozen stories on how Memorial Day started. And so it's somewhere between 1865 and 1868. And it was in the towns of either Charleston, South Carolina, Columbus, Mississippi, or Columbus, Georgia, or all the way up in Waterloo, New York. All of these towns have claimed we were the first. But what was happening was that they were all decorating the graves of soldiers with flowers and having special prayers for that day, and of course, having parades. Now, since 1971, there we go, this is how Memorial Day has kind of happened. So we still have the parades, and as you may know, it's the unofficial beginning of summer, and barbecues, and these folks right here. I think when they get back from the weekend, they'll be as fuzzy as that picture. So it's become a federal holiday, a 3-day weekend full of fun, and you guys are here at church, so welcome. But the principle still remains that Memorial Day is in honor of those soldiers, men and women, who have given the ultimate sacrifice, given their lives through the military in pursuit and the continuation of our freedoms here in America and elsewhere as well. So many people go and they visit the shrine and the cemeteries, and they put out flowers and flags, and maybe some of you will be doing that as well tomorrow. But the precedent of it solely being a holiday of solemnity has been augmented, has been added by the celebration of our freedom and what they sacrificed for. So that brings me to my talk title, which is Principle and Precedent. Ernest Holmes, when we realize that all the spiritual power there is at our disposal, and that no matter how limited a viewpoint we may have had yesterday or 5 minutes ago or in the last decade, with the limitations that follow that viewpoint, right, because they go into our belief system, today we can increase our field of inward awareness. Then we make possible a greater influx of the divine through the human, that is, through our own thinking. So I want to talk to you, I want to tell you a little parable. Have you heard the parable of two wolves? Some of you might have. Let me tell you this. A Cherokee elder is teaching his grandchildren about life. And he says to them, a fight is going on inside of me. It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One wolf represents fear, angry, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, pride, and superiority. They are all lies, lies, lies. The other wolf stands for joy, peace, love, hope, sharing, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, friendship, empathy, generosity, compassion, faith, and truth. This same fight is going on inside of you and every other person. The children sat there wide-eyed, and they thought for a while. And then one of them asked the elder, "Well, grandfather, which wolf will win?" "The one I feed," the old Cherokee answered. "The one I feed." Now, usually after telling this story, I might ask you what you're feeding your mind. And I still am going to ask you what you're feeding your mind. What you feed your mind and thus your belief system, yes, you following me? What you feed your mind, what you feed your thoughts and your feelings that go into your belief system, becomes the mental equivalent. Last week, Reverend Mike talked about the mental equivalent and reminded you what mental equivalent means. And through the law of cause and effect, this mental equivalent then is mirrored into your experience. Yes? Everybody remember that? Okay. Now, some of it is not so fabulous, as we heard a story today. My divorce wasn't so fabulous either. Neither were kidney stones that showed up one time for 4 days. Some not so fabulous, some are fabulous. Some are not so fabulous that become fabulous, but that's another talk. You get to decide which is fabulous and which is not fabulous, and which stays and which has to go. And it doesn't matter if you've been holding on to this belief all your life, the last decade or two, or if maybe it was brought recently by some trauma or some ignorance that you bought into. It doesn't matter if you've been taught lack and limitation by your parents, your teachers, if you bought it from watching or listening to that interesting thing called the news that seems to get in our way most of the time, or if some other church that you used to go to put some lack and limitation beliefs in your head. It holds no precedent to the principles you have dedicated yourself to adhere to. The reason why you come here every Sunday, the reason why you go to classes, the reason why you go to the spiritual cinema. The reason you're a part of this community and this teaching. You have choice and volition. That is so important. That is probably the second most important thing in our teaching. You always are at choice or volition, no matter what's going on in your life. If you are in the midst of a whirling dervish for some experience you are having, you always have the choice, the volition, to allow it to empower you, inspire you, or take over you. So what are the principles I'm talking about? Well, those are the ones that we spoke about earlier in the service. So I'm going to ask you again, because, and the reason I'm doing this is because we tend to, especially when we see it every Sunday, we look at it and we go, okay, and it becomes like the Charlie Brown teacher in your mind. I'm not saying that you don't say it nicely and respectfully, but in your head, because you say it all the time, and you're not necessarily doing it with a consciousness of intentionality, it's in your head is blah, 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 blah. So I want to ask you right now these, I believe, 5 questions. Do you believe there is only God? And God, if you don't like that term, that's okay. God doesn't care what you call it. You can call it God, you can call it divine intelligence, you can call it infinite presence, you can call it spirit, you can call it the Big Bang. I like the Big Bang. You can call it Phil. Sometimes I call it Phil. It seems to answer a little quicker when I call it Phil. Do you believe there is only God, the living spirit, almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause? Yes. Okay. Do you believe that heaven is within you? That Bible thing talks about the kingdom of heaven being within you. And that we experience this heaven to the degree that we become conscious of it. That we become conscious intentionally of it. Every moment of every day. Yes? Thank you. Do you believe the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete emancipation from all discord in every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all? Can you do that? Do you have the ability to relieve yourself of all discord? Yes? Yes, of course you believe that. Do you believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by the creative mind which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it? Yes? So, your thoughts, your feelings become your beliefs. There's a little math there, a little algorithm there. Thoughts plus feelings equals beliefs, and beliefs equals experience. Why? Because we are impressing the law with our thoughts, and it acts upon that and boom, brings it into our experience. So, right, the loving kindness and the eternal giving us of life to all. That is principle. So the power of divine intelligence is unlimited and infinite, except through our beliefs. So here's the law, here's us, and sometimes we put a little wall of lack and limitation or whatever you want to call it, that chaos that goes through your mind sometimes, or something shows up and makes you forget. And boom. So what's the law going to do here? You're stopping yourself. That is the precedent. We are the ones stepping away and thinking our powers to experience wealth, health, love, and creativity as being finite, forgetting that we have access to the power within, to that divine power, to the Big Bang power that made all the planets and everything else. We forget that. Anybody forget that sometimes? I do sometimes. It's embarrassing. I'm an ordained minister. I'm not supposed to forget, but I do. Sometimes I forget. We forget what is always there and always will be. It's our life force. So what do we do when we forget? So there are many ways, of course, to do that. We talked about spiritual mind treatment, the golden key, as our prime way. And there are other ways, and you might see some similarities with spiritual mind treatment in this way. So first thing we want to do is identify with this power, right? Doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You can sit down for 2 seconds and identify with the power. And Dr. Holmes wrote, when we realize that all the spiritual power there is at our disposal, and that no matter how limited a viewpoint we may have had yesterday, 5 minutes ago, something that's been lingering for a decade or more, with the limitations that follow that viewpoint, today we can increase our field of inward awareness. Then we make possible a greater influx of the divine through the human, that is, through our own thinking. We always have to start there. Don't start with the problem. Who cares about the problem? Don't care about the problem for a couple of seconds. Identify with the power within, because that's what you're forgetting. You know, in spiritual mind treatment, I'm doing that somehow. Oh, it's this. I bet it's my beard. Spiritual mind treatment, the first 2 steps, you do the first 2 steps, you don't have to worry about the other 3. I had to count for a second there. You don't have to worry about the other 3. Because once you identify with this power, and then do this, there we go, oops, increase our expectation of it working in us, as us, through us, connect with that power, you're done. You're already there. Everything else is going to show up because you're going to get clarity just by connecting with that divine force. So, Ernest Holmes wrote, "Love points the way and law makes the way possible." Now, in this sort of love, we're not talking about romantic love, though that's nice too. We're talking about the love of spirit, the love of the infinite presence. Love is the self-givingness of spirit. Spirit brought you here, and you here, and you here, and you here. I don't know about the rest of you, but those 5 people. Brought you here to individualize it, to personalize it, to be it in the only way you can be it. That is love. And that love is unconditional. And that unconditional love comes through the law. Because the law says, like we heard earlier, yes, every time. No matter what wonderful or junky thoughts you have in your mind, the law says yes. That's what's fabulous about it. It doesn't feel so fabulous when you're thinking dumb things that don't serve you and they show up in your life. That's not fun, but at the very least, it's a learning experience for you to make a new choice. Continue until it becomes real to us. Now, this is a prayer that Ernest Holmes, a lot of Ernest Holmes today, a prayer that Ernest Holmes wrote that you might want to find that will help you center yourself. It's sort of a long affirmation, but it's a little more powerful than an affirmation. I find affirmations not so powerful unless I take the time to soak in them a little bit. If I just keep saying, you know, I'm great and everything's fabulous and I'm perfect, whole, and complete, it starts to be like the direct declaration of principles. And it's not sticking. It's just a bunch of words without backing of meaning and feeling. So here it is. Let's say this together. Wouldn't that be fun? Yes. Here we go. I am one with all the power there is. I am one with all the presence there is. There is one life. That life is God. That life is my life now. This power, this presence, and this life are perfect, complete, whole, and happy. There are new thoughts, new ideas coming to me. I open my whole consciousness to the influx of that which is larger and better. I identify my mind with inward peace and joy. Now that's powerful stuff. You can't read that and not change, even a little bit. You know, it only takes a little bit to get back to center, to get back to principle. This is principle. I know that whole declaration of principles and those 5 questions I put you through, but this is principle right here. And when you center yourself back into principle, boy, things start showing up. The answers, the people, the education, the things, they just start showing up. It's really amazing and fabulous. So I think, and I declare right now, that it is time for each and every one of us, in one way or another, to set a new precedent in our lives. A precedent that is unlimited, infinite, positive, optimized, unfettered by the past, steep in principle possibilities, and here's a big one: imagination. Don't you love that picture? Love that picture. Imagination. I'm sitting in Reverend Mike's office and meditating a little bit, and I open my eyes and I look above his doorway, and here's this perfect quote that I had forgotten about. Albert Einstein: imagination is more important than intelligence. So all you smart, logical people, step up. Imagination. Do you remember when you were a kid and you're playing cowboys and Indians or something, or playing with your dolls, or playing with, or playing with your G.I. Joes. Those were dolls too. And you were there. It didn't matter where you were sitting. You could be in the bathroom. You could be in the kitchen. You could be outside. You could be in church. And it wouldn't matter because your imagination would just take you to that place and put that costume on as the cowboy or the Indian or the whatever. And you would have that bow and arrow and it's not there. It's not. But it felt as real. Do you remember that imagination? Do you remember, like me, playing Captain Kirk? Or Princess Leia? Yeah? What was that like? Didn't life kind of go away? Now, we had different things that we felt were in our way when we were children, like chores and homework and stuff like that. But all that stuff went away for that few minutes or few hours, whatever, that we were playing in our mind, in our heart, and in our gut, the Trinity. I call that the divine matrix, the Trinity. It is Trinity Day for those who grew up in the Christian religion. We were there. We were surrounded. We were in the experience. We were on the horse going across the plains. We were in the captain's seat going across space. Well, it's time to play that again as adults, even in adult things. I want you to open your imagination and envision your new precedent, and I want you to do it like this. When you get to, you know that third step in spiritual mind treatment? For those of you who don't know what spiritual mind treatment is, it's affirmative prayer. So we're affirming something to the universe. And there's 5 steps. You don't have to do the 5 steps. You don't have to do them in order, but you'll learn them in order if you haven't learned them yet. But the third step is called revelation or revealing. Some people sometimes call it declaration because you are declaring to the universe, to the law, what it is you want. That's not there yet. Or you want something, a better version of that. When you're in this, and this is how I teach treatment, when you're in this third section, the revelation, the declaration, don't just use the words, however wonderful they are, about what it is you want. Describe it. Live it. What does it feel like? What does it feel like as in tactile? What does it smell like? What does a new relationship with your soulmate smell like? What do you hear? What do you taste? When you declare that new Maserati, what's it going to taste like? Not something you think about when you're thinking about bringing a new car into your experience. What does it taste like? The fullness of that will enliven your belief system, and the law will have no choice, because it's only listening to you and always saying yes, but bringing that whole experience into your life and using your imagination. Not just your brain, not just your heart, and not just your gut, but your imagination to bring that alive into your whole holistic system, and thus your belief system, and then the law will bring it into your experience. It's time to open up your imagination and envision your new precedent. The better you experience it in your mind's eye, feel it in the body, the quicker the things you're desiring comes to you. And it doesn't matter what you were taught to the contrary. It doesn't matter what you believed 5 minutes ago. It matters what you believe now. And I know those with a background in psychology might say to me, well, Jay, core beliefs don't go away like that. They can. And even if it takes a few weeks, a few months, even a few years to change that core belief, once it's changed, it'll feel like it went like this. Because there's no time in the divine. We're the ones stuck in some sort of time. Principle is not bound by precedent. Principle is not bound by precedent. Anybody hear that? It's an old New Thought saying, and Dr. Holmes used to love to say that. So how do we do that? We treat, we affirm, we declare, we demand, we decide, we magnify, we know, we be. Do Do you understand that? We be it. We vision it. We meditate. We consecrate it. We innovate. We impregnate the law with it. We radiate, illuminate our thinking, and thus our beliefs. So these principles that we talked about, these principles you've agreed with, that you believe that it is part of your life, know them. Remember them. Bring them out of the closet. Soak in them. And then be them. Dr. Holmes used to start his radio program and his television program with these words. There's a power in the universe greater than you are, and you get to use it. You used it. You're using it right now. You used it to get here, to decide to get here, to decide what time to get up. You'll use it tomorrow when you decide what you're going to do for Memorial Day, for that day off, for those who have the day off. You're using it all the time. So anything that you have learned that is not serving you before can be unlearned. Principle is not bound by precedent unless you're into that sort of thing. And neither are your beliefs. Thank you for those who got that, because it's the perfect joke for church, don't you think? Drench yourself, my friends. Drench yourself. Soak. Immerse yourself in the belief that you have unlimited possibilities. There is nothing in your way but you. And the great thing about you being in the way is that you have control to get yourself out of the way. So get yourself out of the way of the stuff that's in your way, steeped in principle, moving the precedent away and stepping into your magnificence. Because when you do, when you're centered, when you're consciously with the divine that is within each and every one of you, you will see your life soar. So join me in a deep breath. Hold it just for a second, and now let it out. Yeah, let's do that again together as one. Holding it, knowing God is, and then releasing it, knowing I am. God is. I am. Close your eyes if it's comfortable for you. God is. God, the universal spirit, divine intelligence, that creative energy, frequency, that vibration that is out there is also within. And it is at this moment that I consciously become once again intentionally connected to that divine, to that God, to that beingness, to that energy of creation. I individualize and personalize that thing itself. And in this individualization, I step into my divinity, knowing that with it pouring into me, around me, through me, echoing me, that I experience my magnificence. Because the love is there. The love is in each and every one of us. The beauty, the wisdom, the power, the life, the light, the love is there. Glowing, illuminating each and every moment of each and every one of us. So I declare, reveal, know, be, and sink into that magnificence that I am. Knowing that it abides in my pocketbook, knowing that it abides in my body temple, knowing that it lives in my loving relationships, knowing that it inspires my creativity at work, at home, at play. My imagination seeks out and reveals itself in the magnificent experiences that I now claim, declare, affirm, and know to be in my life. Love, prosperity, vibrancy. I vibrate to the power and the presence of the divine. I do this now gratefully, thankfully, knowing it to be so, with everyone present. And together we say, and so it is.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, and we go walking out and move mountains. We go walking out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it all 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. Silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. I know you feel like dying, but I promise you will bring the world to its feet and move mountains, bring it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. All we need is hope, and for that we've got each other, and for that we've got each other. Yeah. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we will rise, and I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. We'll rise up, high like the waves. We'll rise up, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you,
Rising up, rising up. Kids or offertory?
We did the offertory first.
Well, let's do the offertory first. So, baskets are coming around, in case you didn't know. So get out your checkbook, your cash, your credit card. We will take your credit card. Please write your PIN number on the back. And let's know that whatever it is you're giving, right here, right now, is you sharing yourself. You sharing yourself with this community. It's not just about showing up on Sundays. It's not just about going to classes. It's about sharing your treasure as well as your time and as well as your talent. But now it is the time to share your treasure.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me. Oh, Spirit lives and breathes through me.
To each and every one of us right here and right now, represented into the money that this baskets hold. And we know that these monies, through the law of cause and effect, go exactly where they need to go. They are steeped, these funds, in principle. And there is no precedent other than knowing that they go exactly with thanksgiving, with joy, with happiness, with grace, where they need to go to support this community in the love and respect and the divinity and magnificence that it already is. We know this. We are grateful for this. We bless this money, as together we say, and so it is. Children, come on. Come on up.
We'd like to wish a happy birthday. Someone very special.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear mother. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah!
Woo! That is very cool. So how old are you?
4.
You're already 4? No. Oh, tomorrow you're 4. So you're 3 and...
No, tomorrow I'm going to be 5.
Okay. Now see, there's a lesson in clarity. So tomorrow you're going to be 5. 5 is a great age. You going to go to kindergarten next year? Or were you already there?
I really don't.
It doesn't. So you'll go when you want to go, right? Sorry, Mom. So can you? I keep doing this like I'm. What was Match Game? The Match Game guy had the long mic. So I know it's like embarrassing. So can you tell me what you learned today?
I played and I covered and
That's good enough, though. I mean, that's a full day. That's a full day coloring. And what did you learn something today?
what?
Oh,
I helped my mom and dad
with what?
with the grass that we were having.
All right. Good. Hey, good deeds. It's a fabulous day. Thank you, guys. So, happy birthday. Oh, yeah, well, you can sit on them if it happens. It's okay. Madam, closing. Hi, what are you doing? Go over there. Come on.
Yes. If there's any practitioners, they can surround the room. So I know that we've all heard and received just exactly the messages and joy that we needed to hear. We're thankful for all who have showed up today and gave their gifts. I declare that we all arrive home safely, enjoy our Sunday in leisure and grace, and we sleep well and wake up refreshed and live our days with spontaneous creative joy. And I release my word to the law, knowing that this is absolutely so, and together we say, and so it is.
Please stand for the peace song. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Namaste, everyone. Blessings.